My name is Solon. I am a serial entrepreneur and also a very active investor through FreshFounders, which is a non-for-profit community that runs events, private, usually close quarter dinners, and get-togethers at coffees of various founders, usually first-time founders. That's what I do. I start companies and invest in companies, and I help other founders and join founder organizations and that investment club. And then during daytime, which usually is 8 to 8 minimum, I'm a CEO of a startup in the AI space for tax. It's very different to do, supporting other entrepreneurs, mentoring and coaching those that I don't like door coaching, but I like helping those who are starting to walk a path I walked 20 years ago, 15 years ago, right? It doesn't feel at all like work, and friendships build out of that, and so for example, the free time is still what I do. Like yesterday I went for dinner, there was 3 founders in the room, and we had dinner together. Of course, 90% of the discussion was around their businesses and investing, and it was dinner with friends, but if you look at it professionally, it was also deal flow management. But I always mix, in French, from France we say, allier l'utile à l'agréable, which means mixing the utilitarian with the pleasant. Right now, the macroeconomics has a lot of noise. A lot of noise. Geopolitical tension, capital markets being deflated. This is all noise. When you're a value creator, and when you're an entrepreneur, and you are absolutely in love obsessively with something that you think can really make a dent in the universe, why does it matter? You're building something over 10 or 20 years. Short-term contemporary noise can be extremely distracting. Like literally right now, I'm working with a company where the CEO, the founder has been told not to raise funds. And I'm like, I think you should entertain it. And then he's overwhelmed with interest and term sheets. And I just got a call from him yesterday. He was like, so like if you would have paid attention to the contemporary pulse or temperature or the soup of the day, you would have not even dared to entertain those discussions. Forget fundraising, just starting. People are talking about, geopolitical conflict, access to capital is reduced. There's, why bother? Why bother starting a company where you can apply for a job to the government? Like if you want to push to the extreme, paralysis is here, right? But that's not what entrepreneurs do. Like there's I'm not going to swear here, but ignore the paralysis and do it. Just like some of the greatest businesses that I've seen in the last 15 years were started in 2009, 2008 when there was a massive financial crisis, right? Right now I'm starting another one, and frankly, one of the motivators is there's a pool of people that I would have never been able to hire 3 years ago because Amazon was just poaching everyone with double the market salary rate that we could afford. I remember it was not too long ago that I was talking with a founder, and they had a great candidate, and then that candidate had 2 to 3 interview meetings, and then they went on the first interview with Amazon, and Amazon was making on-the-spot offers, 24 hours, sign now, join the team type of thing. Like, you can't compete with that when you're an early stage venture. But now, that's different. Well, are you building a great business? Or are you building hype? Right? I mean, investors, angel investors, or like investors like me, entrepreneurs as well, or even VCs, right? There's 2 things. There's, what is being told in the general population. So you will hear VCs right now talking about, we invest in very boring, reliable, predictable businesses, enterprise, B2B, or things like that. So if you fit in there, that you're aligned more or less with the thesis of the day, which is now refocusing on much more conservative business models. So that's the first thing. But then if you ignore the noise again, and you're like, well, I have a great, I know someone has 17 employees, multi-millions of dollar revenue, owns 100% of the cap table, was hesitant to build a management team, and now it's like, I need to exploit this opportunity, and I don't know how to build a management team. And I'm like, that's a great excuse to raise capital. Find a VC that will join your board, that has seen other entrepreneurs or was a former entrepreneur who did that, who will finance your team assembly and upscaling ability, and that's a great thesis for any VC right now who would see his business, who want to be part of it. So if you build a great business or you have something great going on that is undisputable, doesn't matter the geopolitics. The other aspect also is timing. Like if you if there's a unique insight that you have about something that nobody else gets, you should talk to people about it and test that insight. Like if you and then if you get 9 no's out of 10, well, you've just proven 9 times that people are not understanding, and find the one person who believes in it with you. And those people are still there. Thomas Edison said, right, like, if I failed 700 times, I haven't failed, I've proven 700 times that it cannot be done 700 times. Now I'm going to find the one way that will work. It's more or less the same thing with VCs. Like there's conviction VCs or conviction angel investors, or some angel investors, like some of my partners in FreshFounders, some of my LPs, they're like, they only want to look at the first check-in. They want to be at the idea stage. They want to work with the founder that is crazy enough to dream big enough, right? So you have some of those out there still. I mean, if you knew my, I got worse than no. I got called names walking out of meeting. I got a VC in the Valley screaming at me saying he gets it, but I'm not getting it, that he's not interested. Like I had a very interesting, intense moment at times with the investors community, and at all times it falls on the entrepreneurs to just be resilient about it, and also be very, very much understanding the audience. And I think that's something we don't talk about it. And the third advice I would give is absolutely be professional about it. There's industries that raise capital all day, all year long, non-for-profits or even investment bankers. And when you learn from them, like founders, we're not like a special breed. We are, but we're not. Like the fundraising is a profession and is a methodology, and there's a way to do it that very founders ignore the basics. Like I find myself, explaining what is an investment memo, explaining what you do investment opportunity briefs, explaining the thesis in the industry, why you talk about comparables. Those are things that investment bankers do all the time, and founders need to just acknowledge that there is a science to fundraising. And it's fascinating? There's some founders I know that are like incredible at building tools, people, and processes for customer success. They are doing one of the best team job, and then I turn around and I look at their fundraising. It's like there's no process, there's no tool, and there's no people except them part-time doing it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, why are you not applying the same discipline and fanatic obsession that you have on that team in your own fundraising process, right? I wish I'd say I'm the most disciplined individual. I'm more of an uncivilized brute at times. But yeah, like I definitely have the obsession part for sure checked in, but the discipline, working on it. It's funny, it doesn't get old. It's always new challenges. My challenge right now, and I have no shortage of market demand, capital interested, and people interested to join. It's a completely mind-boggling situation. It's a bit like surreal what I'm living right now. My challenge is just time and sequencing of activities that will veer the maximum yield on the long term. It's a very interesting problem I'm having right now, but I never thought of it. But it's a beautiful problem to have, but it's very, very, very obsessing me right now, which is like, okay, what is the right sequencing to maximize the yield and the return on the long term and make the biggest impact? Because the problem we go after touches millions of people. And the second one is mindset, which is always the case, but this time it's, again, people not allowing themselves to believe that they will be successful. Like, it's fascinating to me. You could have all signs of clear opportunity ahead and nothing holding back, but the human mind and limiting belief are real. So right now I'm spending a lot of my time, as often as I can, with my team, like telling some people, it's like, no, you got this. Like, this is, it's like, hey, this is simpler than you think. This is like, just go. You're allowed to win. You're allowed to go at it, and you don't have to always check in with me on some things because I trust you. Right, like this, I'm spending a lot of my time right now doing that, and it's a function of, like, frankly, I think society is breeding people to be cautious by default. Investors want people to be very good steward of capital, but when you run into a hyperscale need and like an unaddressed market, you run into a lot of limiting belief in people. And I have to say that it's an interesting experience for me to witness that. So I'm trying my best to help my team to size the opportunity. It's the same as relationship. No company, and it's the same as individuals. No company, no individual is the same. No relationship are the same. When you have two analytical people, there'll be a third person called the relationship. And it's the same thing with ventures. Every time you do one, somehow every little pieces of interactions and market influence create a unique, I'm going to get romantic about that, but like it's a really beautiful thing to see. And that's what makes me so happy to do what I do, even though sometimes it's hard. The cost to start something, especially with like, AI, GPT, these situations we run into where like, it's not just content, it's like code refactoring, it's like, oh my God, like the speed and then the cost to start things has just dramatically dropped even more. And that excites me. That fuels me the need to, I can think of 10 to 15 micro businesses, micro SaaS, that if I could clone myself, I would go after, because it's just so affordable now to put code together and then to reach market. It's a very exciting time for that. And I'm that really is exciting. The other thing I feel optimistic about is young, I just turned 40, yay. I wish I was 20. There's like the power of demographics. Everyone does, but it's for a different reason. In less than 10 years from now, in North America, there'll be more people of 60 years old than below 60 years old. It's an aging population thing. And the needs of serving that market and the productivity requirement on the working face are going to shut up. So spending on tools, look at Japan. Japan has been there longer than us. They have an obsession with tools and productivity and robots like earlier than other nations. Why is that? Because I think they've inherently understood that like automation is salvation. If you want to sustain an aging population, right, automation is salvation. You can have a working force that looks after a retiring force doing the same thing the way we used to do it, right? So like I'm thinking about, robotics. I know it's controversial at times, but like robotics are going to become something like cars. Like, you're going to have a loan on your robot, and you're going to have, a lease on your robot, and you're going to own some robots. And there'll be people with custom robots doing different things. Some people, you use robots to do dance competitions and learn from them. Others will literally have a robot that looks after elderly to stay at home and not be sent to a residence. Others will use robots to do construction jobs. Like it's like there's just so much to build right now. It's very exciting if we allow ourselves to think about it. Like, if we do, robotics, AI, 5G are just at the beginning.